Congresswoman, okay, we're fourth time we have to negotiate a funding deal. I mean, why is this going on? Because we're just kicking the can down the road. And I really want viewers and Americans to understand that this is all because of the Republicans.
You said why, and then you answered your question. You're right. It's because of the Republicans. First of all, it's great to see you, my friend, especially at this later hour. But no, it is really unfortunate that we are dealing with so many serious issues, right? Like your monologue, when you open up, you talked about the aid to Gaza. We have some serious things that the world is relying upon us to try to intercede into or to actually solve on behalf of them. And the Republican-run House can't even do the very basics of our job, which is to make sure that we can keep our own lights on. It is problematic, especially since it's not a matter of whether or not we actually have members and whether or not members are showing up to work. It's a matter of, are we getting any work done? And the answer is unequivocally no. We are not getting any work done. The only thing that they have on their agenda is to play more and more games and to do whatever Russian propaganda peddling they can do, or whatever Trump agenda items is what they're pretty much handling right now. Nothing as it relates to the agenda of the American people.
And at the top of that Trump agenda is number one, which is baseless impeachment inquiries. You were there for the Hunter Biden deposition occurring behind closed doors, even though Hunter Biden always offered to do it publicly. Tell us about what happened.
Yeah, it actually was a nothing burger. I knew it would be. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? Did you think Hunter Biden was going to walk in and say, hey, yeah, my dad is corrupt and I'm corrupt and yes, lock us all up? I mean, that was never going to happen in a million years in the first place. But I will tell you that I was extremely impressed with the amount of composure that Hunter had. I mean, we're talking about someone who is continually under attack from the right for no other reason than the fact that he is the sitting president's son, and they feel as if he is a good target because he has a history of drug abuse. And one of the things that he mentioned while we were in this closed door deposition was about the fact that, you know what, everyone sitting in this room probably has had someone who has been impacted by drug abuse. And I thought that that was a really salient point that he was making, not only because it was true, but because it brought the humanity of this situation into focus, right? The idea is that they are attacking someone, and chances are someone that they know and or love has struggled in a similar way, and I'm sure that they would take exception if for some reason one of their friends or family members was attacked in this way.
I do have to ask you about your home state of Texas, the wildfires that are there. More than 1 million acres that have been impacted. At least 2 people have died. How are things going to happen in terms of primary voting coming up on Tuesday with everything that is going on in terms of those raging wildfires in your home state?
Yeah, I have no idea of exactly what they're going to do as far as their elections specifically in that part of the state. But I do want to say, number one, that my heart goes out to every single person that is being directly or indirectly impacted by this. Number two, as someone who serves on the Agriculture Committee, we have been talking about the shortage of water and the level of dryness that exists in this particular region for a while. And I really want Republicans to get serious about representing those that typically elect them in rural America. We have to do something on climate change. I know they hate the phraseology. I know that we've not gotten through the farm bill, but we are talking about our farmers and our ranchers that are being impacted, not to mention the environmental impact that this is going to have on our community. It is important that we as Americans, not as Democrats, Republicans, or independents, but as Americans, get serious about climate change and start to lead this world in the way that we can. Obviously, the Biden-Harris administration has done an immense amount of work in this area, but the reality is that, as you opened up, this has been a do-nothing Congress, and if we are going to do something not only for those in Texas, but those in this country and those in this world, we've got to be serious about climate change, and this is a great opportunity to start to get serious about it.